Okay, so today we'll be working on inverse. Again, this is something that you have seen before, so you'll see that most of the information I'm saying that we have discussed. So let's read some stuff over here. The inverse of exponential is logarithmic. The inverse of shifting up is to go right to. And the inverse of horizontal asymptote would be a vertical asymptote. So if you have a horizontal asymptote at y equals 2, it means that you have a vertical asymptote at x equals 2. So let's look at those. Now, let's say that this is my function, and I have it that it's going to the right. It means it has to go up 2. Log, inverse of that is exponential. Going right to means going up 2. If I have a horizontal asymptote at x equals 2, it means I have a vertical asymptote at x equals 2. Now to draw the graph, you can take any point of those and you can switch the x and the y to give you the points of the inverse function. So I hope this was a good review. Now let's try the other one on our own. Please pause the video, try on your own first, and then check the video. Now before you do that, remember that there's a mistake over here. This has to be a minus, not a plus. Okay, so go ahead, pause the video and try on your own. I hope you did try. So as you can see, this is a logarithmic, so the inverse of log is exponential. So I know that I'm going to have an exponential function. Now since it's x to the power, or x log of x minus 6, it means it's going right 6, right? So there should be a vertical asymptote, so it's going to go right 6, and the inverse of going right 6 is to go up 6. So it means that my function is going to go up 6. So I know that it's going to be 10 to the power x plus 6. And the inverse of here, as you can see, I have a horizontal a vertical asymptote at 6. So then the inverse of a horizontal or a vertical asymptote, which is x equals 6, is a horizontal asymptote at y equals 6. So let's try that. So I'm going to have a horizontal asymptote over here. So keep that in mind. Now, in order to be able to graph it, so let's shift those points. 6.1 and -1, it means I have to have a -1 and a 6.1. So it's going to be somewhere over there. And then if I want to also switch the other point, it's 7, 0, so I expect to have a 0, 7. 0, 7, so it will be somewhere over here. So my graph will have a horizontal asymptote and go through those points, and it's going to be an exponential function, so that's going to be my graph. This is how you do it graphically. So I hope that was helpful. Keep in mind, if it's a logarithmic, then the exponential is the inverse. You switch the x and the y to find the new points and draw them. The inverse, if you go right 6, it means you're going up 6. If you're going left, then you're going down. The inverse of a vertical is a horizontal asymptote. So I hope this was helpful. Now let's move on to the other page. Now on this page, I'm going to be doing 1 and 3, and I expect you to try number 2 and 4 on your own. So let's start on number 1. Now we have to find the inverse algebraically. So to do that, first of all, let's write the equation with log x and y. Okay, now the first thing that you should do is to switch x and y. So I'm going to start with that. So instead of y equals, I'm going to have x equals log of 6, and then 4y plus 4. Now we have to solve for y. Now remember, if you have a log and you want to solve for exponential, because remember, since this is an exponential function, so you expect your inverse to be an exponential, logarithmic, you expect your inverse to be an exponential function. So first of all, you have to change by doing the circle thing. Maybe you're used to having it this way, so you can see the circle. So I'm gonna just switch it. So 6 to the power x is equal to 4y plus 4. So let's write that. Now, to solve this, you have to subtract 4 from both sides. So you end up having 6 to the power x minus 4 is equal to 4y. Now, You cannot really add any of those, so keep it as it is. Then you need y, so you divide by 4. So you end up having y is equal to 6 to the power x minus 4 over 4. You cannot simplify, you cannot do anything. Remember to write it as f minus 1 is equal to 6 to the power x minus 4 over 4, and that would be it. That's going to be the final thing that you need to do. Now go ahead, try to on your own. I'll be checking it in class. Now number 3. Again, the same concept. So let me write it as y equals 5 to the power x minus 8. Now this is an exponential function. To have it as a logarithmic would be the inverse. So first of all, start by switching the x and the y. Then you have to solve for y. So you add 8. So x plus 8 is equal to 5y. Now you have to switch this to logarithmic. So as you can see, we have a log base 5. So I'm going to have log base 5 of the argument will be equal to the exponential. There you go. So that would be my final answer, just switching it into log. So as you can see, this is something that you can work with. If you need to watch this again, please go ahead, watch the video again, and try number 2 and 4 on your own. So we just did how to do it graphically and how to do it algebraically. We'll discuss this more in class tomorrow.